What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining me on another Lunch Break Live. Just some more New Orleans craziness. Federal investigation questions Mayor Cantrell's relationship with bodyguard. So this story's been going on for a year now. So for those of you who don't know, I cover a lot of local politics in New Orleans, or I try to. We tried to recall the mayor about 2 years ago, and the effort was there, but it fell flat. I think there was some funny business going on up at City Hall when all of the recall petitions got put in the City Hall. There's a lot of weirdness there. All right, little Klondike outdoors. Wow, just looked and this popped up. Awesome. I'm all over the YouTubes recently, just how I'm rolling right now. But anyway, so we tried the recall, didn't work. I think there was some funny business going on at City Hall, but she's under a federal investigation now. So let me read the story from Fox 8 Live. It's a Lee Zurich investigation. So he's a, pretty good investigative journalist here in the city. And he actually contacted me. Me and my wife got married up at the courthouse on the other side of the river. And we were charged like $120 or something. Apparently the charge was supposed to be like $20. So they asked us if we had like receipts or anything. And we were like, no, they told us it was cash only. So apparently Judge Trahan and her staff had been making all this money and pocketing all this money off of people just trying to get married, like poor people like myself who can only afford like a courthouse wedding. And that was pretty messed up. Anyway, long story short, Lee Zurich. Am I back? I'm back. All right, cool. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Anyway, Lee Zurich, he's a pretty solid investigative journalist in the city, and you really don't find too many outstanding people in the city. So sorry I lost connection there for a second, but we'll just read the story. I'm going to try not to make as many bodily noises as usual, although it seems like every time I want to talk on the live stream, my nose and allergies and stuff start draining. So sorry about that. Please bear with me, and let's just get going. All right. Fox 8 has learned new details about the ongoing federal investigation into New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell. Sources familiar with the investigation tell Fox 8 that investigators are asking questions about the mayor and a member of her security detail, NOPD officer Jeffrey Vappy. According to our sources, that includes questions about the pair's relationship and the time they spent together. A series of Fox 8 investigations show Cantrell and Vappy spent hours together, both on and off the clock, inside the city-owned Upper Pontabla apartments in the French Quarter. Security camera videos showed they often spent hours inside the apartment during the workday, sometimes leaving late at night. On some occasions, Vappy left first, with the Mayor Cantrell exiting the apartment late at night, walking alone without executive protection. Metropolitan Crime Commissioner President Rafael Goyeneche says the investigation appears to be since a 2018 case brought against the mayor of Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, a similar case had been brought against the mayor of Nashville, Tennessee. Then Nashville Mayor Megan Barry took her bodyguard on taxpayer-funded trips while the pair carried out a secret affair. In 2018, Barry and her bodyguard pleaded guilty to the state charges of felony theft. Tennessee investigators looked at 10 city-funded trips Barry took with her bodyguard and tens of thousands of dollars in overtime the bodyguard collected while claiming to protect the mayor. Sources with knowledge of the investigation into Cantrell say investigators are asking similar questions to the Tennessee case, However, the case in New Orleans is federal, while the case in Tennessee was just state charges. Quote, well, the similarities are that you're talking about a police officer, and that was part of an executive protection team for the mayor of Nashville, who was billing the city for work that he was not actually performing. So if he was not protecting the mayor, was engaged in a personal relationship. Okay, let me reread that. Goyeneche said, so if he was not protecting the mayor, was engaging in a personal relationship. That essentially would have been the basis of state charges that resulted in him being charged and the mayor of Nashville being charged and ultimately resigning. This would be taking the same principles to the federal side of the ledger. Shortly after Fox 8 investigations began to air, Vappy's wife filed for divorce. In court records, she claimed Vappy admitted to an affair. Mayor Cantrell has denied the intimate relationship with Vappy. Quote, as I've stated, based on the false allegations that come my way, by the time I finish the job, literally, accused of sleeping with half the city of New Orleans, both genders and all pronouns, Cantrell said at the press conference in January 2013. And in January 2023. And in March 2023, Cantrell said, as it relates to my professional relationship with Officer Vappy, that's where it is. It's strictly professional. Goyeneche says to pursue a case like this, the federal government needs more than circumstantial evidence. I don't believe the government will charge the mayor or Officer Vappy strictly on circumstantial evidence. I think that they will need to have a higher standard than that. And I think that if they do charge them with that, it's because they believe they have sufficient evidence to meet the burden of proof for a guilty verdict to prove them guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Goyeneche said that he believes questions about the time Mayor Cantrell and Vappy spent together are just one aspect of the federal investigation, and the FBI agents and the U.S. Attorney General are looking into other potential corruption as well. One source told Fox 8 that investigators have asked whether Mayor Cantrell or Vappy received anything of value from parties who are regulated by or do business with the city. Fox 8's prior investigations have detailed that the FBI is also looking into clothing purchases made for Cantrell by her image consultant. We'll find out sooner rather than later, Goyeneche said. The investigation is either going to result in an indictment in the near future or it's just going to dry up and blow away. Mayor Cantrell and Vappy have each hired well-known criminal defense attorneys. Fox 8 reached out to Cantrell's attorney, Eddie something, and Vappy's attorney, Harry Rosenberg. Both declined to comment. So there you go. More corruption by the mayor, in the city of New Orleans. It's just finally having some light shine on it. Her husband just passed away, so it kind of made me sick a little bit watching and reading all these tweets that she's putting out and Instagram posts and press conferences and all this stuff, about her husband and how great he was and stuff. But at the same time, she's over here messing around on him. So, rest in peace, mayor's husband, but you deserve better. The city deserves better. The mayor's pretty bad. It's pretty crazy that a lot of people in the city, they all want change. They all want change in the city. And it's really frustrating. Everybody wants change, but we bring a recall election to get some change. And, funny business happens there. They all claim that it's like a racist attack, and it wasn't. It has nothing to do with her race. It has everything to do with her policies or lack of, and the lack of leadership. And it's all corruption. New Orleans has a long history of corrupt politicians. So does the state of Louisiana, in fact. The mayor before Cantrell was Mayor Mitch Landrieu. There was some stuff with him, nothing as corrupt that I can point to. The Blue Bike program, I think that was a waste of taxpayer money. But before him, we had Ray Nagin. Everybody knows who Ray Nagin is. He was the mayor for Katrina, Chocolate City, Anyway, this guy was hugely corrupted. He did hard federal prison time for his corruption. And Mayor Cantrell is just the female Ray Nagin. That's all she is. She spends our taxpayer money on expensive flights to Europe and all over the world for climate change and green conferences. Meanwhile, in the city, we got streets with literal sinkholes in them. I was on the news looking for this story, and there's a story of new sinkholes, not potholes, but sinkholes in the ground in the city. We don't even have street signs. If you're not from the city, you won't know what street you're on. I just had new street construction in my neighborhood. My street paved, looked perfect. A couple days later, we forgot to attach the water line. Now we got to dig the whole street up and redo it again. It just doesn't make sense. Traffic lights don't work. Street lights don't work. The police force, it's not even a police force. It's a dissolved police force, by definition. New Orleans is a failed state with failed leadership, and they let everybody drink in the street to keep everybody content, I guess. Everybody's drunk and happy, so nobody complains about stuff like this. When we try to do a recall and make actual change, corruption happens at City Hall. Pages of the recall petition were thrown out for one signature. One signature was deemed bad, they threw out the whole stack. That's not how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to count the signatures, not the pages. Anyway, this really got me fired up. You guys in New Orleans want change, but you keep voting for the same thing. It just doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. You vote for the same thing, the same corruption, the same theft, the same, living in fear. It's all the same. You want it to change? It's not going to change if you keep voting the same. You have to vote different if you want different policy and you want change. I'm not saying vote for a Republican, but I'm also not saying to vote for a Democrat. You got to actually look at the candidates on the ticket. Louisiana has a very special state election cycle. If you want to run for an office, you're automatically on the ballot. It doesn't matter. You don't have to primary. So make sure you look at the candidate instead of the stupid letter by their name. And make sure that the candidate reflects policy that you would like. It's your vote. It's not other people's vote. You're voting for you. And don't let anybody tell you different. If you want change, you vote for change. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening to me rant. It's a crazy world out there. Remember to stay well regulated. Catch you on the next one. Peace.